You should know that there are two ways that you can count months in Korean. And the first one is using a Sino-Korean number along with the counter 개월. For example, if you wanted to count 1 month, 1개월. 2 months would be 2개월, 3개월, and so on. And the next system that you can use, which also has the same meaning, is with pure Korean numbers and the counter 달. And the way it works is you take a pure Korean number and you attach 달. 한 달, 1 month, 두 달, 2 months, 세 달, and 네 달, 3 months and 4 months. And you can use either of these systems to count months. You can say 1개월 or 한 달, and they both have the same meaning. And the only difference, if there's much difference, is that this form sounds a little bit more formal, a little bit more official. So you'll probably see this form used more on documents, but both of them are fine. Well, guess what? There's a third way that you can count some of these months. So to keep things as simple as possible, you only need to memorize these two. There's a couple more we're gonna learn, but for right now, 석 for 3 and 넉 for 4. So you could say 석 달, 넉 달 for 3 months and 4 months. Now you can think of these as meaning the same thing as 세 or 네 when they're used before a counter, so 3 or 4. I should also say that you're not just going to be using 석 and 넉 in front of other counter words. You can't just say, like for example, the counter 개 for counting things. You can't say 석개 and 넉개 to mean 3 things or 4 things. There are only a set of counters that work with these, but one of the most common ones is 달. So again, when you're counting months, you have 2 options. But if you're using the words 3 and 4 months, well then you have a third option. And fortunately, you don't have to learn any other numbers for counting the months, just 3 and 4. So then what's the difference between saying 세 달 for 3 months and 석 달, or 네 달 and 넉 달? Nothing, and neither of them sounds more or less formal. But nowadays, younger people tend to use 세 달 and 네 달 more often, but they have the same meaning. And that's all you need to know if you just want to learn about months. So if you're curious to know how else are they used, then keep watching. Not only 달, but these 2 words are also used with a few other counters. These are much less common nowadays, but there are some other counters that these can be used with. You could have 석 or 넉, 돼. 돼 is a measurement of volume. It's about 1.8 liters used for selling, I think it was like rice? Yeah, grain and rice. So you could have 석 돼 or 넉 돼 for 3 or 4 of those. Again, if you're just doing 1 or 2, you can do 한 or 두 as usual. 자 is a measurement of length. In fact, it's almost exactly the same as a foot. So it's 30.3 centimeters. It does appear in a common expression though. 내 코가 석자. Literally, my nose is 3 자's length, so 3 feet long. It's not talking about the nose though. It's actually referring to your snot. So it's saying I have like a 3-foot snot hanging down from my nose right now, and it means I can't deal with anything else. I've got my own issues to deal with. Next is 냥. 냥 is 37.3 grams. And then 섬. 섬 is 180 liters. So again, this would also be used for counting grains or rice. And with some counters, there's a different form. Not only is there 석 and 넉, there's also 서 and 너. Now this has the exact same meaning as 석 and 넉, which as we said, has the exact same meaning as 세 and 네. But there are 4 counters that will use 서 and 너 instead of 석 and 넉. Again, you don't need to memorize any of this. It's just for fun. So you can just memorize these, you can write them down for later if you're curious. Of these, 돈 is still fairly commonly used. It is 3.75 grams of weight, so it's for measuring metal. And typically this will be like gold. A 돈 of gold would be 3.75 grams of gold. So for this, if you wanted to say 3 of them, you would say 서돈. 너 돈 for 4, and then as well as these counters. Now this is not horse and foot. These are counters again. So usually these will be for like rice and grains and stuff like that. So just keep in mind if you see them that this is an alternate version, but it has the same meaning. So how else have you seen these numbers 3 and 4 used in Korean? Let me know down below in the comments. I do check all of those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in another episode. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.